Oh boy, this Phillies team. I know I'm going to gripe on them this entire game, definitely. But I'm gonna say I respect you on the series. Yeah, that's what I asked coming into this. I didn't expect this team to sweep the Pirates just because they are the Phillies. They're not going to sweep a bad team just because they are a team that plays down to their competition. I was even surprised that they won this series to begin with. But when you're in this big stretch to end the season, you're in your final 7 games, well, now final 6 after today. With how close you are to the Braves in the standings and how crucial getting these wins are, and especially with the crucial series coming up this week against the Atlanta Braves, every win is important. And yes, it is really unrealistic to demand the Phillies to win every single game because no team is going to do that unless you're the St. Louis Cardinals because that team is just on a whole different stretch of everything. But that just makes it more important. And then you're always going to look back on the series that you lost because when you constantly play these types of teams like the Pirates, teams like the Rockies, teams like the Cubs, teams like the Orioles, and you don't take care of business. Even though you took care of business in these 2 series, you won both series. But when you go back to a couple of weeks ago, when you're playing the Rockies, when you're playing the Cubs, and you don't win any of those series, you lose 3 out of 4 to the Rockies, you lose 2 out of 3 to the Cubs. That's why you're in this predicament now, because you're not beating up on the bad teams. You're not beating up on the teams that are worse than you. And at the end of the day, that's what the Phillies are. They are a team that is going to hover around this 500 mark, but right now they are at 81 wins, so the best, or the worst they can be is an exact 500 team. The best they could be is a couple of games above 500, and their first winning record in the past 10 seasons, which you could say is a step in the right direction, but we still know this team is very flawed in the lineup, in the pitching, the defense, just everything. Right now, it's Bryce Harper trying to do everything possible, and the offense, in a game where they desperately needed to do something, they didn't do it against the starter that had a 7 ERA. How do you not muster up one single run against the starter that has a 7 ERA, and especially going into the Pirates bullpen? How do you not get one run? That's a problem in itself. And you threw a bullpen game today, and honestly, the first 3 guys in this game were fine. If you look at you got Hans Cruz. No one expected him to make the start today, and Hans Krause. I was like debating in the back of my head what was the proper way to pronounce his name, but it's Hans Krause. But no one expected him to make the start today. Everyone was going to assume it was Adonis Medina. But he makes the start today, and go figure, his first ever pitch in the big leagues is a home run to right field by Cole Tucker. At first, everyone thought it was foul, but it was fair. It was one of those things where it just barely went around the foul pole and landed in foul territory. It was one of those weird ones, but still, first pitch of the game goes into the stands. Not the best start to your MLB debut, but he settled down. He did allow base runners on the occasion. He did. He allowed quite a few base runners. He had 2 hits allowed, the 1 earned run on the home run, 4 walks, 1 strikeout. Not the best performance on your first appearance, but can't blame him. He's being put into this big situation. Your first big league start is a bullpen game in an important 7-game stretch for this team. Yeah, granted, yes, you're going up against the Pirates, but still, that's a tough task to ask for a young, inexperienced pitcher who has never pitched in the big leagues before. That's a very tough task. And he only allowed 1 run. And then you got Sanchez coming in after it. He does fine. Only 2 innings pitched. I said 2 innings allowed. That's how much my brain is melted every time I mention that in these videos because of this goddamn team. 2 innings, 1 hit allowed, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Those first 2 guys, fine. Bedrosian came in, he got 2 outs. He walked 1 guy, then Alvarado came in. And then Alvarado, he got that last out of that inning, but then he comes in for the 7th and just implodes. He implodes. Going into that 7th inning for Jose Alvarado, he walks Cole Tucker to lead off the inning. Then he gets the ground out. Okay, you get the first out of the inning. But then he intentionally walks Brian Rhodes. Okay, you're trying to get the double play situation factor there. But then he walks Colin Moran. So you got a bases loaded situation for a pinch hitter, Brian Hayes. a double down the line, scores 2 runs, but thankfully Bryce Harper to Gene Segura managed to throw out the third runner, Colin Moran, trying to go home, so it's a 3-0 Pirates lead. He does get out of that inning, but then you just continue to implode, and I'm just like, why are we bringing out these? Because Medina comes out after Alvarado in the 8th inning, then Rosso comes in during the 9th inning. I'm just like, are any of our guys available? I know Archie Bradley is injured. I know Ian Kennedy, a couple of games ago, he was in a stretch where he pitched like 2 games straight and he had 60-plus pitches. And you also got Hector Neris with that 2-inning adventure that he had a couple of games ago as well. So, are just these pitchers not available? Are we saving those arms for the Brave series? Like, what are we doing here, Joe? We're throwing a bunch of these young, inexperienced arms in these big situations, besides Jose Alvarado, but it feels like you're kind of putting the team in a situation to fail. Putting all these young guys out there when you're losing the ball game, that's a tight situation. You don't want to put a young, inexperienced guy in, and that's exactly what happened, but how much more can I blame the pitchers when the offense does absolutely nothing in this ball game? They barely muster up anything. Barely any chances. They were 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. They only had 3 chances with runners in scoring position, and they left 9 total people on base. And the 2 best chances of this ball game were both at the hands of JT Realmuto, and he failed each time that he came up to the plate. The first one came in the 3rd inning. We got a Gene Segura single with 2 outs. Bryce Harper works a single as well, so you got a 1st and 3rd situation for JT. He strikes out swinging after fouling off 2 really good pitches that were right down the middle of the plate. And he chased the slider down and away. Typical right there. But then you go a couple of innings later. Not that long after it, JT gets another great chance. You got Odubel Herrera getting a double. Then you got Bryce Harper getting intentionally walked, so you got a 1st and 2nd situation for JT. He grounds into a force out the end of the inning. And it's one of those situations, again, he's swinging on a pitch that's on the outside corner. He's trying to pull it for some reason, not driving it to the opposite field. And it's another just wasted opportunity at that standpoint. It is. It just is. JT had 2 great chances to drive in runs in this game, and he did not. And those were your best chances the entire game. That's basically it. You get all those runs, and then you go to that adventure that was, the 9th inning for Rosso. Just an adventure. My goodness. Brian Hayes leads off with a single, and then you get the first out. He gets Kevin Newman to line out, but during this entire Michael Perez at bat, the sequence, in order, a passed ball by JT Realmuto allows Brian Hayes to go to second base. Then a wild pitch by Rosso allows him to go to third base. And then, what do you know, a balk scores him. So basically, Michael Perez drove in a run without having to do jack shit. Because Roman Rosso and JT Realmuto completely butchered up that entire sequence. Pass ball, wild pitch, balk. And that was the second balk of the game because Jose Alvarado had a balk in the 7th inning. So basically, this entire game was just a disaster. It was a nightmare. And this was a game they desperately needed to win. And this is the performance that you put out in your final game at Citizens Bank Park this season? This is the performance that you do? You deserve to get booed off the field. That's what the fans exactly did. You deserve to get booed off. That's not the performance that you want to put out there in your final home game of the season. And especially when you have an important stretch coming up. Especially that. You don't want to do that. And you came out with probably the biggest dud possible. And that's the second time you've been shut out in the past week. You got shut out in the first game by the Orioles. Now you get shut out in this game. The offense, man, they pick and choose when they want to do stuff. That's basically what it feels like. To the box score of the offense, basically. Odubel Herrera, good day at the plate for him. He went 2 for 4. Gene Segura, 1 for 3. Bryce Harper, 1 for 3. Walk as well. JT Realmuto, he went 1 for 4, but that single did not come with any of the runners on bases. Brad Miller, not the best day at the plate, 0 for 3 with a strikeout and a walk. Andrew McCutchen, not a good day, 0 for 4, 2 strikeouts. Didi Gregorius, he went 1 for 4. Freddie Galvis, 0 for 4, 2 strikeouts. Jankowski had a pinch hit appearance. He went 0 for 1. Torreyes had a pinch hit appearance. He went 0 for 1. And Vierling, he came into this ball game eventually to play center field. He went 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Just, yeah, they did that. That was the precious dud that the Phillies just provided us. And if we're looking at the San Francisco Braves, not the San Francisco Braves. God damn, my brain is melted. Not the San Francisco Braves. That team did not exist. They never exist. The Atlanta Braves, if we're looking at their game against the San Diego Padres. They're winning 1-0 currently in the top of the 4th inning, and they have a runner on second base. Joy. So with this loss for the Phillies, they are now 81-75 on the season. They are now 2 games behind the Atlanta Braves. Thank you, San Diego Padres, for not winning last night's ball game. That would have helped us a lot. But at this point, like I always say, this team needs to focus on themselves, and you have to look at every game in front of you, day by day, 1 game at a time. It's what this team has to do. It's crucial. It's what they have to do. Now, are my expectations still that this team is going to make the playoffs? No. I don't think this team is going to make the playoffs. I appreciate that it's going to be this stretch down to the very end, but they put themselves in a bad position to begin with. They have. And if you look at their home and away splits, 47-34 at home, 34-41 on the road. Is this team going to come up clutch on the road? I have no idea. I don't. It's not going to be expected. I don't want to be the Debbie Downer, but it's what this team is. It's what this team is. Maybe they surprise us on this back-end stretch with this Braves series and the Marlins series, but like I said, you got to take it 1 game at a time. And your top 3 pitchers need to step up in this Braves series. Wheeler, Nola, and Gibson. And your offense cannot go quiet. Your offense simply cannot just be Bryce Harper. As much as I love Bryce Harper for what he's been doing, it simply just can't be him. It needs to be more. We need people in this lineup to step up. We need JT to step up. We need Gene Segura to step up. Didi, step up. Brad Miller, whenever he gets his chances, step up. Odubel Herrera, no matter how much you feel about him, I feel about him the same way. He needs to step up because he is our best option. Even though Matt Vierling, every time he's been put in there, he's been good. He's been good for us down the stretch. But do you want to put a rookie in that situation? No, I don't think Joe Girardi's going to do that. All of our players need to step up. Freddie Galvis, Ronald Torreyes, step up. It just can't be Bryce Harper. That's what I'm saying. And I still hate the concept of bullpen game because, even though I said they've been winning them recently, this was a game you kind of needed to win. Even though I'm not blaming the entire damn game on the pitchers because majority of this game I feel like is on the offense. You got shut up by the Pirates. I feel like that's where majority of this blame goes to. It's the offense. It's basically it. You need to score runs. You can't put up this big of a dud in your final home game against the Pittsburgh Pirates when you're facing a guy that has a 7 ERA coming into this ballgame. It's mind-boggling. It is really mind-boggling. It is frustrating. And, and just this stretch coming up, it's going to be huge. But if the Braves win tonight, the Phillies will be 2.5 games back going into the series against the Braves. And you're basically, if that's going to be the case, if the Padres don't find a way to win this ball game, because if the Padres do, the Phillies will be back to a 1.5 games behind the Braves, which would make it much better going into that series, but I'm not going to count on it. Because right now the Padres, they got eliminated last night from postseason contention, so they're playing with nothing to lose. So maybe that makes them more, I don't know. I don't know. I got nothing. I got absolutely nothing. But 2.5 games behind the Braves, if that's the case going into this series against them, yeah, you're probably going to have to sweep them, and it's not guaranteed, and I'm not betting on that. So, 1 game at a time. 1 game at a time. Pitching needs to step up, and the offense needs to step up. That's all it is. Do I expect it to happen? I don't know. I don't know. So, I'm going to end the video right here, everyone. What are your thoughts on this dud of a game? What are your thoughts on the Phillies' chances going into these final 6 games? all your thoughts. I want to hear them down in the comment section below. As always, do not forget to leave those down there. Do not forget to drop a like on this video. Do not forget to check out the Painted Lines, which I'm a part of. Their links are down in the description below. Also, don't forget to check out the links to Bro Media, the Florida Pod merch website, and also Flyers Nitty Gritty. All that good stuff is down in the description below. Do not forget to check those out. And the most important thing you could do is hit that subscribe button. I'll greatly appreciate that. And I will see you next time.